At exactly 3:17 a.m., 113 miles off the Iranian coast, 4 Navy SEALs slipped beneath the surface. No motor noise, no radio chatter, no moonlight reflecting off wetsuits, just 4 divers breathing through closed-circuit rebreathers as they approached a drilling platform worth $200 million to Tehran and worth exactly nothing once the explosives detonated. The platform designation was Sassan 4. Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps intelligence called it secure. They were about to learn that secure is a relative term when facing operators who've spent 2 decades perfecting the art of making things disappear. The platform sat like a steel island in the Persian Gulf, 62 meters tall from seafloor to helipad. 300 Iranian personnel working 12-hour shifts, 70,000 barrels per day flowing through pipelines toward refineries that kept Tehran's war machine fueled. 14 Quds Force soldiers armed with AK-103 rifles stood guard with absolute confidence that nobody would be stupid enough to attack Iranian sovereign territory in the middle of a geopolitical powder keg. The United States had been planning this operation for 6 months, every shift change logged, every supply helicopter tracked, every radio frequency cataloged by signals intelligence. The platform wasn't just a target, it was a message written in thermite and high explosives. Keep attacking commercial shipping in the Strait of Hormuz, and America will start subtracting infrastructure. Simple arithmetic, delivered by professionals who specialize in making problems disappear at 3 a.m. The SEALs emerged 200 meters from the platform's northern leg. Silent ascent, controlled breathing, eyes scanning the superstructure through night vision optics. One guard visible on the lower deck smoking a cigarette, looking southwest toward Iranian territorial waters, not looking down at the black water where 4 shadows moved like sharks closing on prey. The climb took 8 minutes, hand over hand up steel cross-bracing slick with algae and crude oil residue. No safety lines, no backup. Just grip strength and the knowledge that falling meant mission failure. At the access hatch, the team leader produced a small pry bar. 3 seconds of applied leverage. The hatch popped open with a metallic click, barely louder than the waves slapping against support pillars 70 feet below. Inside the platform, the mission clock started. 30 minutes to place charges, 30 minutes to extract, 60 minutes total before Iranian response forces scrambled helicopters that would complicate exfiltration. The first charge went on a primary support beam, 5 kilograms of C4 plastic explosive molded around steel like sculptor's clay. Detonator inserted, arming wire connected. Move to the next position. 3:19 a.m. The complication arrived wearing an Iranian uniform. A guard appeared from a stairwell 15 meters away. Wrong place, wrong time, wrong decade to wander into a SEAL team mid-demolition. The team's point man reacted with muscle memory drilled through thousands of repetitions. HK-416 carbine already shouldered, suppressor reducing muzzle report to a mechanical cough. 5.56 millimeter rounds impacting center mass before the guard's finger found his trigger. The body dropped. The noise echoed through steel corridors. Somewhere above, 13 more Quds Force soldiers heard something they shouldn't have and reached for weapons. The platform's alarm screamed to life, a voice on the intercom barking Farsi commands. Intruders, Americans, weapons free. Every guard on Sassan 4 converging on the lower levels. The SEAL team scattered into defensive positions, back-to-back in a maintenance bay. HK-416 carbines tracking doorways, suppressed Sig Sauer P216 pistols drawn as backup. 4 operators against 14 guards with 30 pounds of explosives that couldn't detonate until they were clear. 3:21 a.m. First sustained contact. 3 Quds Force soldiers appeared in a doorway 20 meters away. AK-103 rifles barking 7.62 millimeter rounds at 700 rounds per minute. Full automatic hammering into steel walls. Suppressive fire while reinforcements maneuvered. The SEALs responded with precision. Aimed fire, controlled bursts. The HK-416's gas piston system cycling flawlessly. 2 guards down, the 3rd retreating, spraying blind fire that ricocheted off pipes. But the math was brutal. 4 Americans, 11 remaining guards, and somewhere up in the command center, a radio operator screaming for help that would arrive in helicopters loaded with soldiers who viewed this platform as Iranian territory worth dying to protect. How the Aegis combat system works. The USS Porter, an Arleigh-Burke-class destroyer, sat 12 nautical miles from Sassan 4. 4 General Electric LM-2500 gas turbines generating 100,000 shaft horsepower. The AN/SPY-1D radar tracking every aircraft within 200 miles. The Mark 41 vertical launching system holding 96 missiles. Aegis coordinates the entire battle space. Link 16 data links transmitting encrypted tactical information across hundreds of miles. Every radar contact, every radio intercept, every threat assessment updating in real time. The system exists for one purpose: maintain information dominance so complete that enemies make exactly one mistake before learning they're outmatched. Right now, Aegis was tracking 2 Iranian helicopters lifting off from Bandar Abbas, 14 minutes from Sassan 4, loaded with reinforcements who would turn 4 on 14 into 4 on 40 unless something changed. 3:26 a.m. The situation devolved. The SEALs fell back toward their interception point, fighting retreat, covering fire. 5 guards down now, 9 remaining, but those helicopters were 11 minutes out. The team leader made the calculation. The charges were set. 4 out of 6 targets rigged. Not perfect, but good enough when the alternative was getting overrun by helicopter reinforcements. The call went out. Encrypted burst transmission to the Porter. Execute Plan Bravo. On the destroyer's flight deck, an MH-60S Seahawk spooled its twin General Electric T700 turboshaft engines. Naval Special Warfare Extraction Bird. 2 door gunners with M300 miniguns. Time to target, 8 minutes. The Iranian helicopters were only 9 minutes away.
3:31 a.m. The firefight reached critical mass. The SEALs reached their insertion point. Steel ladder leading down to the water where Zodiac boats waited with engines warm and nervous coxswains scanning the darkness for muzzle flashes or incoming fire. But descending that ladder meant exposing their backs to advancing guards who'd closed to within 30 meters and showed zero interest in taking prisoners. The solution came from the team's heavy weapons specialist, a man who'd packed 40 pounds of extra gear for exactly this moment. He pulled a cylindrical object from his kit, M18 Claymore mine, 700 steel ball bearings backed by 1.5 pounds of C4 explosive, originally designed for defensive ambushes in Vietnam, still brutally effective at teaching enemies why breaching a controlled corridor is a terrible life choice. The mine went down facing the approach corridor. Detonator wire paid out. The team descended toward the water while their heavy weapons specialist held the clacker trigger and watched advancing shadows through night vision, counting, waiting, the discipline required to let enemies get close enough to maximize casualties while not getting so close they could return effective fire before the mine erased them from existence. 4 guards entered the kill zone. The specialist squeezed the clacker. The Claymore detonated with a concussion that rattled the entire platform. 700 steel ball bearings traveling at 4,000 feet per second transformed the corridor into a metal storm that left survivors screaming and the advance effectively terminated. The team hit the water, Zodiac boats racing east toward the rendezvous point 2 nautical miles away. Behind them, Sassan 4 remained structurally intact but operationally compromised. 4 critical charges in place, timers ticking down. 30 minutes until the platform discovered exactly what happens when American explosives meet Iranian infrastructure. 3:37 a.m. The Iranian helicopters arrived. 2 Bell 214 aircraft, Iranian military designations unknown, loaded with 20 fresh soldiers who believed they were arriving to secure a compromised facility. They had no idea they were flying into an environment where the United States Navy had been tracking them since Wheels Up and had already designated both aircraft as hostile contacts worthy of immediate attention. The MH-60S Seahawk intercepted at 3 nautical miles, not engaging, just positioning. radar warning receivers screaming as the Porter's AN Spy-1D painted both Iranian helicopters with enough electromagnetic energy to fry unshielded electronics. The message was clear without firing a shot. We see you, we're tracking you, we can engage you anytime we choose. Consider your next move carefully. The Iranian pilots faced impossible math. 2 helicopters loaded with troops, 1 American warbird probably carrying Hellfire missiles and definitely backed by a destroyer whose weapon systems could swat them from the sky before their own weapons came within range. The cost-benefit analysis wrote itself. The platform was already compromised. Dying to retake it wouldn't change that outcome. Both helicopters banked away, returning to Bandar Abbas with troops who'd never set foot on Sassan 4 and pilots who'd just learned the hard way that American naval aviation doesn't bluff when it establishes air superiority over a tactical objective. 3:47 a.m. The charges detonated, not simultaneously, sequenced. The first explosion crippled the platform's primary support structure, steel groaning under forces it was never designed to withstand. The second charge took out the main pumping station, crude oil that should have flowed to refineries, now pouring into the Persian Gulf at 12,000 gallons per hour until emergency shutoffs could engage. The third and fourth charges destroyed the helicopter pad and the communications array that connected Sassan 4 to the larger Iranian oil infrastructure. Total cost to Iran? 1 platform offline for 6 months minimum, 70,000 barrels per day in lost production, $217 million in repairs and lost revenue, 14 Quds Force casualties, and the humiliating realization that the United States could strike critical infrastructure at will and extract operators before Iranian response forces even arrived. American expenditures: 4 SEAL operators on hazardous duty pay, 200 kilograms of C4 explosive at approximately $60 per kilogram, 1 M18 Claymore mine at $119 retail. Total American cost, approximately $40,000. Return on investment, strategic message delivered. Iranian leadership forced to divert resources to platform defense. Commercial shipping through the Strait of Hormuz slightly safer, because Tehran now understood that attacks on neutral vessels resulted in mathematical losses they couldn't sustain. The Seahawk landed on the Porter's flight deck at 4:14 a.m. 4 SEALs stepping onto American steel with salt water still dripping from their gear. No medals, no press conferences, no acknowledgement that the operation had even occurred. Just a debriefing, equipment maintenance, and another mission briefing because somewhere in the Middle East, somebody else was making decisions that would require American operators to deliver consequences at 3 a.m. when nobody was watching. Sassan 4 burned throughout the morning. Iranian state media blamed a catastrophic equipment failure, propaganda for domestic consumption that fooled nobody who mattered. The CIA had the operation logged before breakfast. Russian intelligence probably had it logged before lunch. And every Iranian oil facility manager from Karg Island to the Caspian Sea started walking their platforms at night, wondering if shadows in the water were just shadows, or American operators deciding whether their facility was next. This is how modern covert action works. No declarations of war, no international incidents that make headlines, just surgical strikes that teach expensive lessons to regimes that believe geography protects them from consequences. Iran wanted to play dangerous games with commercial shipping. They discovered that America's response isn't diplomacy. It's 4 operators with demolition charges who can subtract $200 million of infrastructure faster than Tehran can scramble helicopters. The Persian Gulf remained tense that morning, but the attacks on neutral shipping noticeably decreased in the following weeks, not because Iran suddenly developed respect for international law, because the accountants in Tehran ran the numbers and realized that every attack on commercial vessels risked another 3 a.m. visit from operators who'd proven they could hit critical infrastructure and vanish before dawn. Some lessons are taught with missiles. This one was taught with plastic explosive, suppressed gunfire, and the cold mathematical reality that attacking American interests invite consequences that arrive silently, strike precisely, and leave burning platforms as receipts for bad decisions. If you found this breakdown valuable, subscribe and share this video. Your support brings more untold stories of modern military operations to light.